Hello chess lovers, I have an interesting game for you played at Tradewise Gibraltar 2018. In round 5, Hikaru Nakamura with the black pieces was facing Jan-Krzysztof Duda. Duda started with e4 and c5 by Nakamura, Sicilian defense, knight f3 d6, we see the open Sicilian, c takes d4, knight takes d4, knight f6, knight c3 and g6, Nakamura goes for dragon variation, bishop e3, bishop g7, f3, black castles kingside, queen d2, knight c6 and white castles queenside. White omits bishop c4 in order to speed up the attack by immediately castling queenside and starting a pawn storm on the kingside. But this immediate castling allows black to push the d pawn, and there it goes, we see d5, queen e1, e5, knight takes c6, b takes c6, e takes d5, knight takes d5, bishop c4, bishop e6, king b1, rook b8, knight e4, queen c7, bishop c5, rook d8, and there it goes, white is starting to push his pawns, g4, h6, h4, and f5. A very ambitious move by Nakamura. Of course, this f5 stops white's further advancement, but of course this move also has its downsides. This is somehow weakening the king side. We see g takes f5, g takes f5, knight g3, queen f7, bishop b3, rook d7. Nakamura is going to double up his rooks on d5, and also the rook on the 7th rank can be very useful. Knight e2, rook d8, h5, king h7, a prophylactic move. Black is moving away the rook from g5, and also at some point moving away the king from this dangerous diagonal can also be useful. Queen a5, knight f4, rook takes d7, rook takes d7, knight takes f4, e takes f4, queen e1, bishop d5 and bishop b4. So far so good. During all the game white had a slight advantage, but this bishop b4 move allows Nakamura to equalize the game. It was better to play queen h4, attack the pawn on f4, or something like rook g1 is also better, activating the rook. But instead, after bishop d5 we see bishop b4. Now comes c5, a tiny pawn sacrifice, but white didn't capture on c5, instead Duda played bishop takes d5, but actually capturing on c5 is better. If queen f6, then c3, bishop takes f3 with equal chances, but instead after c5 we see bishop takes d5. Here comes queen takes d5, bishop a3, and Nakamura wins the pawn on f3, getting a strong passed pawn on f-file. Bishop takes c5, rook b7. Now the pawn on b2 is under attack. b3, but this is weakening the dark squares, and now Nakamura will start to exploit that fact. Queen d5, bishop a3, queen d4, with another dangerous mating threat, forcing white to push the c pawn, thus weakening the queen side. Queen d3 check king b2, and there it goes, the f pawn marches forward. Bishop c5 covering the f2 square, but it was better to place the rook on h2. Later Duda could use this rook on the 2nd rank as a strong defensive resource. Though of course after rook c7, bishop b4, queen e4, of course black has an advantage, but instead after f3 we see bishop c5. But it turns out that Nakamura is not going to stop this pawn. There it goes, he pushes the pawn forward, f2, and after bishop takes f2, once he managed to lure away the bishop from a3 f8 diagonal, he played a very powerful move. You can pause the video and try to find his next move. Ready? Well, I have already gave you a hint and you have probably guessed his next move. That move is rook e7, trying to deflect the queen which is protecting the c3 square. White accepted the sacrifice, but here comes queen takes c3 check, king a3 and queen a5 checkmate. A very beautiful finish, I think, by Hikaru Nakamura. As I've already mentioned, the game was played in round 5, and after that round Hikaru Nakamura is the sole leader of Tradewise Gibraltar 2018. If you enjoyed this game, don't forget to give the thumbs up or subscribe to my channel. More games are coming. Good luck.